having challenging conversations with parents, it's really helpful to have a foundation of a positive relationship. Just like we build a positive relationship with children, we want to do the same thing with families. So spend the time early on in the school year getting to know families. Have your open houses, your back to school nights, send home activities where the parents work with the child and fill out an all about me little poster that they bring into the classroom. Have those casual conversations at pick up and drop off. Ask families, what do they like to do? What does their routine look like? Who lives at home? What, celebrations do they participate in? Ask them about their weekend plans and share a little bit about yourself too. It's much easier to build a relationship if there's two sides of that relationship as well. Not that you need to share all of your personal information, but a little bit to make you more of a likable human as opposed to a teacher that just lives at the school, as some of our children do believe. Something else to think about too is we have to inform parents of what's happening in the classroom. If there's challenging behavior that comes up, they need to know that so that they're not surprised if we need to have more serious conversations about challenging behavior. But also, as you're updating parents on what's going on, think about what your ask is of parents. I know personally, as a parent of a child who bit for a while in the classroom, that it felt really helpless to hear every day, your child is biting, and walking away with, I'm not in the classroom, I'm not seeing that behavior at home, I'm not sure what to do to help the child. So think about if you want families to have a conversation with the kiddo, or if you just, this is just to let you know we already dealt with the behavior in the moment, I'm just keeping you informed, or here's a book that I want to suggest about this topic, or here's the way we are problem solving in the classroom, you can consider trying that at home as well. If you've got a suggestion to go with it, that can really help take away some of that helplessness feeling and get parents a little more involved. Also really helpful to find out what's going on at home. Have there been any big changes that might, shed some light on the behavior you're seeing? Or also, if the parents are seeing that behavior, what are some of the things that are working for them at home? What are the strategies they're using, and how can you collaborate so that the child is getting consistent messaging and consistent responses to the behavior as well? So lots of opportunities to partner with families, and I think if you're keeping your communication really open and using families' preferred way of communication, that can really go a long way. And to find out what preferred communication method families have, you can always ask the question of, hey, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Or what's the best way to reach out if I have some news to share with you? If you aren't able to have those conversations, then you can watch to see what the family does to connect with you. If they send an email to you, that's probably the best way to get back to them. If they share a lot of personal information or a lot of detailed information at drop-off, then maybe they prefer a face-to-face. So if you don't have time at drop-off, maybe setting up another time to meet with the parent. Or maybe having an opportunity for someone to come and step in for you in the classroom so you can step out with the parent to have a more sensitive conversation if need be. Think about lots of ways to communicate with families, whether it's in person, text messages, emails. There are lots of communication apps that are kind of back and forth apps so that families can communicate with you and you can communicate with them. Using your conferences and your programs, set aside time to do those conversations as well. I think the last piece I want to leave with you is if you need to get to the point where you're making plans for specific behavior, challenging behavior, that should not be the first time families hear about the behavior. You should be giving them updates along the way. It shouldn't become as a surprise, but also make sure families are involved in those conversations. They know the most about their child. They are the child's first teacher, so they bring a very valuable perspective to the table, and it can be much more beneficial to have everyone sitting around collaborating and problem solving to create a plan to deal with the behavior of everyone in the child's life involved, parents especially. So hopefully those tips were helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching.